Alright, now I'm going to do problems 5 and 6 of the study guide. The really nice thing about 5 and 6 is that if you notice, the two systems of equations given are pretty much the same. So be looking out for these maybe different questions might have the same system of equations. So the answers are going to be connected pretty much. So number 5, use a graph to solve the system. Alright, so there's the given system. And how do we do these? So this is what you're going to do. The first step is to leave y by itself. When you're asked to graph, the y value has to be isolated for both equations. So I'm going to take this system and I'm going to take both equations, and each equation I'm going to solve for y. Just isolate y. You don't have to find the actual value of y. So I'm going to do this on a piece of paper now. So here's my system. I'm going to take the first equation, which is x minus y equals -3. And I'm going to pretty much solve for y. So let's subtract x to both sides. And I'll be left with -y equals -x minus 3. I still have the negative, so let me divide both sides by -1. The negatives will cancel out and I get y equals the negative and the negative will create a positive x, and the negative and the negative will create a positive 3. So here's my first equation. Now I'm going to take my second equation, which is 2x plus y equals 0. And again, I'm going to solve for y. So let's subtract 2x on one side, subtract 2x on the other side. And I get y equals -2x. And that's it for my second equation. So that's pretty much it. We already solved for y on both of them. Now it's going to be really simple to graph these two equations. So let me just create an x and a y-axis. And let me go up 3 units. 1, 2, 3. Let's create 4. And it keeps going. And also this way. 1. Alright, so let me graph the first graph first. So I'm gonna get my y-intercept. Let's look at my y-intercept. Again, my y-intercept is the value that has no variable. So the +3. It's gonna be my y-intercept, and it's gonna be 3 units up because it's +3. So 1, 2, 3 units up. There's my y-intercept. And it has a slope of 1 because it's 1x, or 1/1. So slope of 1, which means I'm going to move over 1 and up 1. And then just connect these 2 points. There you go. Now my second equation, if you look carefully, it's just -2x. It has no plus anything, has no minus anything. So my y-intercept for my second equation, it's going to be 0. 0 is my y-intercept, but it has a slope of -2/1. Okay, so if you don't have a fraction, it's pretty much going to be always over 1. So my slope is -2/1, so I'm going to move over 1. But this time I'm going to go down 2 because it's -2. So move over 1 and go down 2. There's going to be my point. Alright, let me do some more lines. My line is going to pass through these points. There you go. And this point of intersection, this point here, the point where the graphs intersect, that is going to be my solution to the system of equations. So let's see if somewhere here we can find this to be the solution. It seems to be that it's going to be level -1 and up 2. Let's see if that's actually one of the solutions that we're given for number 6. Well, for number 1, this is pretty much it. Number 1, it's asking us graph it, and there's the graph. That's everything we have to do. It's also asking us to find the solution, find the points where the graph intersect. If we notice, it goes back 1 and up 2. So that will be the solution where these graphs intersect. So the solution is going to be the point where they intersect, -1 for my x value, and 2 up for my y value. That is my solution for number 5. Okay, so number 5, I should see this. I should see the point where they intersected, and I should see the work that you did to isolate the y variable. So all of this work that you see here, I should see that for number 5. So now I want to touch bases, and right now also do number 6. So number 6, if you look at number 6, it's asking us, given the system, remember that number 6, problem number 6, it's exactly the same. The systems are exactly the same. That's the system for number 5, and the system for number 6, it's exactly the same. So it's telling you, given the system, which is the same as number 5, determine the solution. And what is the solution? Of course, it's going to be also the points where the graphs intersect. So for 6, the answer is B. Then it says, prove the answer you selected in is a solution to the system. So you already know that -1, 2 is the solution. So just you can take just your values and replace them for each equation. So pretty much what you're going to do, it's going to be let me go to the paper. What you're going to do is you're going to take your first equation, which was x minus y, equals -3. And again, we said that x was -1. So replace x by -1. Minus, and y was +2. So put positive the 2 equals -3. And as we can see, -1 and -2, that's -3 equals -3. So what I did, I replaced my x value for -1, and I replaced my y value for +2. And that gave me -3. So -3 equals -3. That's part of it. Now the other equation was 2x plus y equals 0. Again, the x was -1, and my y value was +2. Equals 0. Let's see, -2 times -1, that's -2, plus 2 equals 0. So 0 equals 0. Check. For number 6, this is proof that the point -1, 2 is the solution. You don't have to do anything else other than just show that for each equation, you get a true statement, -3 equals -3 and 0 equals 0. And that's it for number 6.